Everything else on your plate you eat for you. Fiber is the one thing you eat for someone else. Your own enzymes cannot break it down, so it travels the whole length of your gut and arrives intact in your large intestine, where the bacteria living there can do exactly what you cannot. That part is settled science. What is not settled is almost everything you have been told about it. The single most popular claim about fiber in your gut does not survive contact with the trials. This is prime health. Last time I promised you the gut, what fiber actually does to the bacteria in your large intestine, and which of the popular claims about it survive the evidence. So, first, what fiber is and where it ends up. Then what the bacteria do with it. Then 4 claims, one at a time, each with a trial that tests it, and at the end, what to actually put on your plate, which rests on far better evidence than the microbiome story does. Chapter 1, the passenger. Start with an ordinary meal. Whatever is on the plate, the starch, the protein, the vegetables, nearly all of it gets taken apart in your small intestine, protein into amino acids, starch into glucose, and absorbed through the wall into your blood. By the time what is left reaches the end of the small intestine, your body has taken everything it can use. That is the normal, efficient, extremely well understood part of digestion. Fiber is the part that survives all of that. The standard review is blunt about why humans lack the enzymes to degrade the bulk of dietary fibers. Not digests slowly, cannot. The chemical bonds holding those carbohydrates together are bonds we simply do not make a tool for, so while the glucose and the amino acids leave through the wall, the fiber keeps going. And then it arrives somewhere completely different. You can see the change in the chemistry. In 1987, researchers measured short-chain fatty acids, the byproducts of bacterial fermentation, along the whole length of the gut. At the end of the small intestine, 13 units. In the first chamber of the large intestine, 131. 10 times higher, a few centimeters further along. Something is happening in there that was not happening upstream. Chapter 2, the payment. Here's the deal your body has made. You cannot digest fiber. The bacteria in your large intestine can. They ferment it. They break the bonds you have no tool for, and they live on what is inside. This is not a metaphor, and it is not a wellness slogan. It is a second round of digestion run by organisms that are not you, in a chamber your own enzymes had already given up on. And fermentation has byproducts. 3 of them matter: acetate, propionate, and butyrate. They turn up in a fairly consistent proportion, roughly 60, 20, and 20, and different bacteria specialize. One large group mainly makes acetate and propionate. For another, butyrate is the signature product. Which bacteria you are feeding decides which acids you get. Butyrate is the one to know because of who eats it. In 1980, a researcher isolated cells from the human colon lining and asked what they burn for energy. When butyrate was the only fuel available, it accounted for about 73% of the oxygen those cells used in one part of the colon and 75% in another. The modern reviews put it like this: colon cells get 60 to 70% of their energy supply from oxidizing these acids. So read that again. The lining of your large intestine is substantially fueled by the waste product of bacteria eating the food you could not. And it is quick. In a much-quoted 2014 study, 10 volunteers switched diets completely, and the community in their gut shifted within a single day of the new food arriving, then drifted back within 2 days of stopping. But read that one carefully as well, because it is almost always quoted backwards. The fast, dramatic shift belonged to the arm eating an animal-based diet with almost no fiber in it. The plant arm moved far less. Your gut responds quickly to what you take away, at least as much as to what you add. Chapter 3, the claims. So, to the board. Claim 1, eating more fiber changes your gut bacteria. That is where everybody starts, and it has the best evidence behind it. In 2018, a team pooled 64 randomized studies, 2,099 people, of fiber interventions in healthy adults. 2 groups of bacteria went up reliably: bifidobacteria with an effect size of 0.64 and a confidence interval that stays well clear of 0. A real, repeatable, replicated effect. Claim one survives. With one honest footnote. That same analysis looked at butyrate itself, the acid we just spent 2 minutes on, and found it went up. Just barely. Effect size 0.24, and the bottom of the confidence interval sits exactly on 0 with a p-value of 0.05. That is the definition of a result that only just cleared the bar. Fiber changes who is in there. Whether it reliably raises the acid we care most about is a weaker claim than the internet makes it. Claim 2. And this is the big one. Eating more fiber increases the diversity of your gut microbiome. Diversity is the number people quote. It is on the packets, it is what the test kits score you on, and it is the claim that fails. The cleanest test of it came out of Stanford in 2021. 17 weeks, 2 randomized arms, 18 people in each. One arm ate far more fiber, and they really did it. From 21.5 grams a day at the start to 45 grams a day by the end of the maintenance phase. That is double sustained, supervised, and measured. Alpha diversity, the number the entire industry is built on, did not change. Not by species count, not by Shannon diversity, not by phylogenetic diversity, and not even when they checked whether the people who ate the most fiber gained the most. Now the authors are careful, and so am I. They point out that a diversity increase might simply be slower than the 10 weeks of high intake they achieved. But something did change. The gene machinery for breaking down complex carbohydrates went up. The community did not get bigger. It got better at its job. Then there is the study everybody links to. 2024, swap white bread for a high-fiber loaf. The title of the paper says, it increases microbiome diversity. It is a real randomized trial. 22 people finished it. And fiber intake hit 40 grams a day, but read the author's own explanation of their own result. The difference, they write, was primarily due to the reduction in alpha diversity following white bread, whereas diversity remained unchanged on the high-fiber bread. The gap opened because the white bread arm went down. And the butyrate producing capability everybody quotes from it? P equals 0.062. Not significant. The trial was funded by a bakery. So claim 2 does not survive. Not because fiber does nothing, we have just watched it change the chemistry of the whole community, but because the one specific number people sell you is the number that did not move. And here's the part that should probably have come first. Diversity is not a validated target anyway. A 2022 analysis of 21,000 stool samples from 5 continents ages 18 to 107 found that microbiome diversity tracks getting older, but not aging well. There is no agreed definition of a healthy microbiome. We are all being sold a score for something that does not yet have a reference range. Which brings us to claim 3. A gut test can tell you what to eat. In 2024, 69 experts published an international consensus on exactly this question, and the language is unusually plain. There is insufficient evidence to widely recommend routine microbiome testing in clinical practice. 90% agreement. And on the diet plan that comes back with your results, the panel discourages the reporting of any post-testing therapeutic advice by the testing provider. 98% agreement. Claim 3 does not survive. And the people who said so include researchers with commercial ties to the field. Claim 4 is the interesting one. It depends on the person. And that one holds up. In a controlled feeding study, one starch-fermenting group of bacteria went from 3.8% of the total to 17% in most of the volunteers. But in 2 of the 14, over 60% of that starch came out the other end unfermented. Same food, same protocol, completely different result. The authors conclude that the changes depend on the initial composition of an individual's gut microbiota, which is the scientific way of saying that whoever is already in there decides what your dinner does. One more quickly because you will be sold it. Probiotic supplements. The honest position is not that they do not work, it is that the evidence is lopsided. The gastroenterology guideline that reviewed them covers 8 specific digestive conditions, and for several, including irritable bowel syndrome, it recommends probiotics only inside a clinical trial. For healthy people, it says nothing at all because it did not look at healthy people. And the National Institutes of Health puts it plainly. There are currently no formal recommendations for or against the use of probiotics in healthy people. Nobody here is telling you to stop anything, but if you are deciding where to put your effort, the food has the better evidence. Chapter 4, your plate. Because here is what has been quietly true underneath this entire argument. In 2019, The Lancet published a series of reviews pulling together just under 135 million person-years of data, comparing the people who ate the most fiber against the people who ate the least, a 15 to 30% lower rate of death from any cause, of heart disease, of stroke, of type 2 diabetes, and of colorectal cancer. And it moves with dose. For every 8 grams more fiber a day, the all-cause mortality risk ratio came out at 0.93. The certainty of that evidence was graded moderate. And notice what that argument does not need. It does not need a diversity score. It does not need a stool test. It does not need one single word about bacteria. So how are we actually doing? The most recent national survey puts the average American adult at about 16 grams of fiber a day, roughly 18 for men, 15 for women, against a target the World Health Organization sets at least 25 grams a day. And note their exact wording: naturally occurring dietary fiber as consumed in foods. The dietary guidelines state the gap flatly. More than 90% of women and 97% of men do not meet the recommended intake. And it comes with a number. Risk reduction was greatest between 25 and 29 grams of fiber a day, close to the 28 grams that the daily value on a food label is measured against. So here is what that looks like as food from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's own database. 1 cup of cooked lentils, 15.6 grams. 1 cup of black beans, 15. 1 cup of raspberries, 8. 1 cup of dry oats, 8.2. 2 of those in a day, and you are most of the way there. Which is also why the amount you can comfortably eat is personal. A review of 103 clinical trials in people without gut disease found that tolerance is specific to the fiber. The point at which trials began reporting bloating, gas, and rumbling ranged from under 4 grams a day for one type to 25 grams for another. I am not going to hand you a schedule because there is not a validated one to hand you. If you go up fast, you will find out. Your gut is not subtle about it. And some people should not take general advice here at all. If you have irritable bowel syndrome, there is a specific dietary approach with real evidence behind it. And both major guidelines say it should be run with a trained dietitian in phases, because done badly, it carries a genuine risk of nutritional deficiency. That is a conversation with your clinician, not with a video. If you have Crohn's disease with a narrowing, more fiber is not automatically better. And even among specialists, that guidance is a weak recommendation. And if you take a daily medication, that is a question for your pharmacist rather than the internet. So the whole thing in one breath. Fiber is the food you cannot digest, which is exactly why it matters. It reaches your large intestine intact, and the bacteria there fermented into acids that your colon lining burns as fuel. Feeding them reliably changes who is in there. It does not reliably raise the diversity score. That score is not a validated target, and no stool test can currently tell you what to eat. But the reason to eat the beans was never the bacteria. It was 135 million person-years of people who ate more fiber and had less of the disease we spend our lives trying to avoid. If this was useful, subscribe. Next time, fatty liver disease. Why it is usually silent, how it actually gets found, and what the evidence says can change it. This episode is education, not medical advice. The outcome numbers here come from observational data. They describe groups of people, and they are not a guarantee about you. Talk to your doctor before changing things if you have a gut condition, or take medication for one. Eat something that was recently a plant. Your bacteria have been waiting.